What's going on, Misfit Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Matt the Misfit. This is your Monday Night Raw review for August the 20th, 2023. And not a bad episode of Raw, but not a very good one either. Quebec, Canada, you guys are so much better than Winnipeg. Winnipeg, you fucking suck. Never go back there again, please, WWE. I can't understand why Jericho left fucking Winnipeg. We've seen things happen on this show here. We've seen an amazing segment with Shinsuke Nakamura, which I cannot wait to talk about. I'm going to lump both the Nakamura and Rollins rebuttal into one whole part of the review. We also seen a phenomenal match between Gunther and Chad Gable, which is just the appetizer of the teaser. The appetizer is coming. But the whole meal, rather, is coming probably at Payback. Speaking of Payback, we have 3 new matches announced for Payback and a lot of other stuff here. But if you like what you see here, hit the like button, comment down below, hit the subscribe button, follow the social medias, Misfit Podcast TV on Twitter, Misfit Wrestling Pod on Instagram, and on Threads, even though not a lot of people are on there right now anyways. You can go to the audio outlets, the other audio outlets, Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher Radio, Pandora, what's the other one? iHeartRadio, whatever one's up there, Stitcher. There's probably another one that's up there, and I don't I'm blanking on that one, but it's there. Listen to that as well. We had the Pile Driver Pulse that went up yesterday on Sunday, which went over all of the happenings that happened the following week of things I didn't unfortunately get to cover, which was Raw, SmackDown, AEW, Collision, Dynamite, Rampage. I unfortunately did not get the chance to record a review for Multiverse United 2, so I apologize for not staying true to my word there, but I did watch it. Julia's over. Julia's great. That match with Leslie Shaw, Deonna Purrazzo, and Momo Gogo was phenomenal. Also was the match with Alex Shelley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. We also seen some of the stuff happen on the show, but that show was actually really fun. I enjoyed the show, but I will go over the results of that show on Sunday for the Pile Driver Pulse. We got other things we're going to go over with. Of course, I'll talk about that at the end of the show, but let's go through Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw from Quebec, Canada, Quebec City, Quebec, Canada, rather. Sami Zayn came out to a thunderous reaction, and for over 9.5 minutes, wasn't allowed to say anything because the crowd was chanting "Ole, ole, ole, ole" and cheering them on, and he started talking in French. Says it's been too long since he's had a match. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead here. So, Sami welcomes Montreal. Go back to Monday Night Raw before he can finish his statement. The Judgment Day comes out. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley, and Dominic Mysterio surround Sami. Sami asks the 4 of them, "Did you honestly think that I would come here alone?" Out come Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens returns from his minor injury. He had a broken ribs. Nice to see Kevin Owens back. He says, It's been far too long since I've had a match on Raw." Not really. It's only been like a couple of weeks, really. Challenges any two members of Judgment Day to face him in a match in the main events with Sami Zayn. And we are back at it again for another weekly roundup of which member of Judgment Day is going to have a match with the same members of this tag team with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Look, I love the Judgment Day. I really do. But I'm at the point where, like everybody else, I'm tired of seeing them open the show. I can't even mind them opening the show. They don't need to be in the main event every fucking week. I'm over this whole thing. Like, listen, I like the story they're telling with Judgment Day. That's fine. You don't need to have it take up the fucking main event segment. This is what I have. This is the same issue I have on SmackDown with the bloodline. It was refreshing not to see the bloodline on fucking Raw on SmackDown the other night. SmackDown wasn't a good show, but it was still refreshing to see other things progress when 45 minutes of that show was not taken up by the bloodline. 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 minutes, because I'm counting the opening segment, and then I'm counting the two segments that was 2 or 3 segments that happened within the backstage area, and then the 2 matches that we had with commercial breaks at the end of the show. That's way too fucking much. I'm kind of over the whole thing with the Judgment Day as part of the main event. Do something else. Shinsuke Nakamura, when we'll talk about him, is fighting for the World Championship. The World Championship still does not feel like the main event. And it's the World Championship on the flagship show. It's kind of it's getting on my nerves, really, and it's kind of pissing me off and pissing everybody else off. And at this point, I would have main evented with Gunther and fucking Chad Gable, and we'll talk about that in a second. But come on. Next up, we had New Day make their way to the ring to face Matt Riddle and Drew McIntyre. This match didn't get anywhere. The crowd was way more into Drew McIntyre. They didn't really give a shit much about Matt Riddle. The New Day is The New Day is just there now. The New Day wins because of Trouble Paradise to Riddle after Eric of the Viking Raiders pulls Drew McIntyre off the ring apron. Referee didn't see it because he's a fucking dumb fuck, obviously. After the match, the Viking Raiders attacked the New Day, but McIntyre headbutts Eric and levels Ivar with a spine buster before sending him crashing outside the ring. Then we go back to this fucking shit with the Judgment Day. We have Finn Balor backstage with JD McDonough chatting up with Jackie Redmond, Rhea, and Dominic walks in and says, and what dismisses McDonough, tells Balor they need to discuss about who is facing Sami and Kevin Owens in the main event. You're going to hear more of Judgment Day through this entire show. I can tell you this here. Then we had a great video package with Shayna Baszler, getting that like Mortal Kombat vibes there. I'm enjoying the current presentation of Shayna Baszler. Hopefully this leads to bigger and better things for Shayna. Because even Shayna agreed, Shayna understood why people were not were mad about the match. And I wonder if the crowd knew the rules, if they would have had a better understanding of the match. Who knows? But who's that? Gunther then had a message for Chad Gable when we led into the Gunther Chad Gable Intercontinental Championship match. This match was awesome. One point, Gunther lands a knee on Gable's midsection, but Gable fires back. I'm going near the end of the match here. I don't think I can do this match any justice here. Fires back with the dragon screw. Does Gable. Clinches on the ankle lock. Gunther fights out of it eventually. But Gable rains down some right hands, delivers a beautiful German suplex. Goes for the pin. Gunther kicks out. Gable looks for the moonsault, but Gunther pushes him off the top rope, crashing into the barricade. Does go Chad Gable. He executes a chop and a big boot, then lands a second chop, looks for a third, and that chop, it would have been hilarious if Gunther went for the chop on the ring post and broke the ring post completely in half. I feel like Gunther can do that with that chop. Didn't though, but it sounded good. The sound did. Had a beautiful German suplex over the timekeeper's area. And Chad Gable beat the 10 count, wins the match, but not the Intercontinental Championship, and obviously going to continue this because they want to make sure Gunther passes the 400 and something day reign of the Hunking Dunk Man, and then that's when they're going to have Gunther drop the Intercontinental Championship, which looks like they're going to probably give it to Chad Gable, which I'm not against. But as long as it's after after he breaks the record, I don't care who wins the Intercontinental Championship until if it happens after the reign is record is broken for there. More Judgment Day bullshit. They're backstage. They're arguing again. Rhea says, Rhea thought that these two solved their stupid shit a few weeks ago. They did. Apparently not. She says she's not in the match because she's going to be facing Candice LeRae later. Tells them, if I don't get back here and you two haven't figured it out, then we're going to do it my way. So basically is what happened here. Cody Rhodes. Before that, Gunther is chewing out Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. We found out that Ludwig Kaiser is going to wrestle Chad Gable next week. Then we got Byron Saxton. Poor Byron, just there. Cody Rhodes comes out and is asked about attack again with the Judgment Day. We're back to the Judgment Day shit here. Following his match with Finn Balor before moving on to the outside, to the ringside area to do the interview. Ask Quebec what he wants to talk about in French. Then formally welcomes Michael Cole and Wade Barrett to Raw. Addresses the Judgment Day and says that they may have the numbers game, but they won't have the advantage down the road from where Sammy and Kevin Owens grew up. He says he'll be watching the tag match between the two parties closely later on tonight as Judgment Day rises and falls. Whatever. This is not the end of the Judgment Day through the show. We're going to talk about it here. Here comes my favorite thing on the entire show. Shinsuke Nakamura. This, in my honest opinion, was the best Shinsuke Nakamura promo that he has ever cut in WWE. This was incredible. Last week, Shinsuke Nakamura whispered something into Seth Rollins' ear, and Rollins took it back to it. And the reaction of this uncomfortable reaction to it. And for an entire week, we're trying to figure out what he says. Well, here's what he says here. Says that Rollins is a man who has had it all, but he knows his weakness and told him last week that he knows about his back. Says that Rollins has been broken for many years. His pain has created a void that cannot be filled. He says that he's in pain when he hugs his wife or picks up his daughter. Tells Rollins that he can break him. He says that him and Rollins are not that different, and the two of them live by a code not lived by most. He says that Rollins' body has crumbled under pressure and under his own vanity, and then asks Rollins if he's satisfied with what he's done within his life. Tells Rollins to watch his back. Woo, this was fucking great shit right here. Now, you're wondering, well, why is this so important? Well, because Seth Rollins, back on the Logan Paul's podcast, the Impulsive podcast, Rollins had this to say about he's saying about his back has been bothering him since 2019, and I'm trying to avoid surgery. He says that I feel like I'm starting my prime. I'm just getting into it. I've been wrestling since I was roughly 16, 17 years old, or 20 years now. So I'm in our industry. Things like. Let me see if I can look for the actual quote here about his back here. Let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can find it here. He said he detailed some injuries that he's been dealing with. Rollins revealed that he's probably he should probably get back surgery on his back, but he's trying to make sure that doesn't happen. He says, "No, honestly, I do my same thing. I just do my same thing. I just try to change my training up based on how I feel, and I constantly and there's a consistent injury. My knee's been bugging me since WrestleMania. I've had issues with that. I was having issues with that. My neck is acting up. My lower back has been at me since 2019. So I probably actually get some surgery on that. But I'm trying to do whatever I can to make sure I don't need it, because a couple of stress, because I have a couple of stress fractures back there." Seth Rollins then went on and later on in the night and said that what he says is true. I have fractures in my. Let's see if I can find it here. Let's see if I can find the actual quote here. He says, basically saying, I this is all true. This is, basically, he basically says this is all true. Like, now you're bringing my family into it, and I'm going to show you what happens when you bring my family into it and whatnot. But this was good. This is what Nakamura needed. I want to see more of this version of Nakamura being presented going forward, and I would not be surprised if if Seth Rollins does have to go get surgery, and we could be there could be a new World Heavyweight Champion coming out of Payback this Sunday, or next Saturday. We'll go over the previews and predictions for that show, because I completely forgot. I didn't know the show was next week. Got All Out and Payback next week. So, yeah, it's gonna be a long week next week. Not Rey Mysterio. Fucking Rhea Ripley defeated Candice LeRae. Nothing match. Nice to see Candice LeRae on TV, but this was kind of boring. Rhea's title reign is not that good. They just don't have anything other for, like, I get they're holding off the Becky Lynch feud for WrestleMania, but come on. There's other people. You can build other people up. This is the same issue I'm having with at least with EO, They have, there's 3 challenges going for Io Sky in her championship. Asuka, Charlotte, and Bianca. And then eventually you're going to have to throw Bayley in there. And then when Kyrie comes back, you're going to have Kyrie as well. And potentially, whenever they clear her, Dakota Kai, if they want to have Dakota turn on Io or not. They have 4 or 5 different challenges already lined up for Io Sky coming out of SummerSlam. And then there's an eventual match there with Selena Vega, because Selena Vega beat Io Sky before Io won the title the night before. So, or not the night before, the week before that? It was one of the two. Here, all you got is Raquel Rodriguez, who came out to no fucking reaction. But then again, she never comes out to reaction because she's fucking boring and stale. Just like this fucking title run with Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley came off this incredible fucking WrestleMania match, and they've done nothing with it since. I don't give a shit that her knee has been bothering her. You should still have her. If Seth Rollins is going to come out here and say, "Oh, well, I have fucked up backs. I have a fucked up neck. I have a fucked up knee that I've been dealing with since 2019, and he's still wrestling every fucking week." Why isn't Rhea Ripley wrestling every fucking week? That's a bullshit excuse. Bullshit excuse. If Seth Rollins can do it, Rhea Ripley can do it too. This is getting on my fucking nerves here with this bullshit booking here. The Judgment Day's booking is kind of pissing me off with these, and again, I like the Judgment Day. Do something else with them that doesn't involve Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes. And do something else with Rhea Ripley that doesn't involve her not wrestling every week. Get her the fuck away from Judgment Day for a little bit. They will be fine without Rhea Ripley for a couple weeks. Let Rhea do her own thing. Dominic can get run over by a car or something. I don't know. Fucking do something with him. Do something else with him. Keep his ass on NXT or something. It's really getting annoying, and I'm just over it. And another thing I'm over with is The Miz. And I'm not talking about this segment because fucking move on. Because Akira Tozawa beat The Miz. Because who fucking cares about the fucking Miz in 2023? I don't. This is all here to just have LA Knight be on the show. Whatever. Moving on. Drew McIntyre, Matt Riddle backstage. They're basically going to do this match again because we're back. We're getting close to that Vince McMahon booking of rematch. We've already seen it with the fucking Judgment Day, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and I'm fucking over that. Again, more Judgment Day bullshit. They're arguing. Don't care. I'm at the point where I don't care about talking about Judgment Day segments every week. I probably won't talk about Judgment Day next week. That's how little I care about it now. And speaking of things I don't care about, this fucking feud with Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. No, they should not main event the fucking pay-per-view. Go fuck yourself. Anybody who thought that, no. This feud is fucking terrible. They do not deserve the main event spot. I'm sorry. Especially not on pay-per-view. And you gotta prove to me and people, you gotta prove to me and everybody else watching at home that they actually deserve the main event spot. I don't give a shit that they were left off of SummerSlam. Good fucking reason they was left off of SummerSlam, because that finish they pulled last week was fucking stupid. So no, they don't deserve the main event spot on the pay-per-view at all. Give that spot if Roman Reigns is not going to be on that show. Give that spot to Seth Rollins and Nakamura. At least I'm intrigued with that storyline and that feud. I care more about this program right now. When you look at the current card of Payback, Nakamura versus Rollins is the only match I give a shit about on that show. There's that. We're gonna have another match with Zoe Stark and Becky Lynch next week. Oh yay, goody! I'm so excited for that. I don't even care if it's a false count anywhere match. The stipulation should be, if I beat you next week, you're banned from ringside. No, they're not going to do that. Because I guarantee you, they're going to have some fucking way to have Trish Stratus win this match at the pay-per-view. And they're going to get to use this fucking storyline again. Chelsea Green and Piper Niven defeated Kayden Carter and Tana Chance, because why even bother with the women's tag? Again, this is another reason. And I cannot believe this. They brought up Alba Fire and Island On to have them drop the titles to the NXT Women's Tag titles to a team that was going to be breaking up 3 or 4 weeks later, anyways. And that was the only reason they were brought up, because they're not talked about in creative meetings. This is why I did not want them called. If they were going, this is why I think Alba Fire should be on Raw and not fucking SmackDown. Sorry, put them both over on Raw. They need more fucking depth. I'm sorry. We had the whole thing with Nakamura and Shinsuke, Nakamura and Rollins. They're probably going to have a face-to-face meeting next week on Raw. We'll see where that goes here. You know what I would do? I would just have somebody. I would have an interpreter be present, or just not let Nakamura speak. I would be the silent like assassin ninja dude or something. That'd be pretty dope here. And I got to talk about this fucking shit. This might be the shortest episode or review I've ever done here. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens lost for DQ to the fucking Judgment Day because Jada McDonough threw the fucking briefcase, who apparently was trying to get tossed to Balor. Owens caught it and hit Balor straight in the face with it in plain view of the fucking referee, knowing darn well the referee was looking at him, and he hit him with the briefcase anyways. What a fucking idiot. Why would you do that? especially being the baby. Then I realized it's stupid babyface syndrome that plagues any wrestling company. It doesn't matter if it's WWE, AEW, New Japan, Stardom, Impact, wherever else. It plagues everybody. And stupid. Cody Rhodes comes out to make the save because we have to have this same 6-man tag match we've seen 4 months ago. But guess what? The babyfaces win because of course they did. This was I was bored. I got bored with this match here because you know what I did during this entire match here? I watched a cooking video with Starlight Kid and Natsuko Toro because I was way more entertained with that than I was this fucking main event. Because I'm done with this Judgment Day main event bullshit. Give me something else, for God's sakes. I guarantee you next week's Raw is going to have some member of the Judgment Day taking on either Finn Balor or taking on either Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn or Cody Rhodes in the main event, because of course they will. I just know that's what's going to happen. I don't even need to read the Raw plans for that to happen. Zayn grabs the mic. It says, Judgment Day better not luck next time. This is just going to be setting up for probably the 6-man tag match at the pay-per-view. Or 8-man tag match. You know, this is going to be they're going to do the same 6-man tag match as the pay-per-view. And the Judgment Day are finally going to get the win because of JD McDonough. As a JD McDonough. And then they're probably going to kick out Damian Priest from Judgment Day. At least then, there'll be a different fucking match. Probably that main event Raw, which will probably be Finn Balor and fucking Damian Priest, which be different than what the fuck they've been doing with the fucking Judgment Day. I'm just over it. I'm over it. You'll see in the headline I've put out another Judgment Day main event. Best thing on the show was the Shinsuke Nakamura promo, followed by the Chad Gable Gunther match. Nothing else was notable happened on the show, if I'm being completely honest here. That's how little I can. Like, Quebec, you know, was awake for the show. Winnipeg was not. Where are they going to be for SmackDown? Let's find out here. They're probably going to go back to the States because, of course, they are. I feel like they should just have Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-views just outside the United States for the foreseeable future. I do not want to see them come back to fucking fuckle town. They'll be in Louisville, Kentucky. Louisville is not going to fucking make a goddamn sound. What am I talking about here? SmackDown. Jey Uso is going to return, even though he was only gone for a week. So I don't give a shit about. I think that's literally the only thing announced for SmackDown this coming week. I think that's it. So the current matches announced for the pay-per-view, the Payback pay-per-view. Oh, no, that's right. John Cena is going to be on SmackDown this week because, you know, he ain't got nothing fucking going on in Hollywood. So, and he's going to wrestle at the India live event. Thank God that's not being fucking broadcast on pay-per-view because I do not need another fucking pay-per-view. I need to chill out. Y'all need to chill out with these fucking live events there. Pay-per-view events. But the current match card now for Payback is as followed. What should be the main event: Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the World Heavyweight Championship. Raquel Rodriguez versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. And a steel cage match: Trish Stratus and Becky Lynch. Other than that, I have nothing to talk about for this show here. This show was a bore ass. This show bored me to death. Again, like I said, if there was anything you need to go back to watch from the show, it's the Nakamura segment and then the stuff with the Intercontinental Championship. What's coming up for the rest of the week here? Well, we got AEW Dynamite, the final Dynamite before AEW's biggest show ever, aka it's the biggest show in wrestling history, according to things here. We got the Elite are going to take on Juice Robinson and the Guns, which is going to set up some more stuff for the match with the 6-man tag match at the pay-per-view with Paige, Omega, and Ibushi taking on Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita. Swerve Strickland and AR Fox will take on Darby Allin and Nick Wayne ahead of the tag team coffin match on Sunday. Ozzy Open will defend the Ring of Honor tag team titles against the Hardys. The Ozzy Open's not losing the titles before the fucking pay-per-view. Sky Blue versus Ruby Soho for reasons. I feel like I've seen this match before. Oh, that's right, I have. John Moxley versus Ray Fink, which should be a lot of fun. Getting ready, we'll find out. We might find out on Wednesday who the 3 mystery partners are for Stadium Stampede. I'm right now assuming one of them is going to be Shota Umino, and the other one might be Santana and Ortiz. Contract exciting between Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho. They might actually have the United Kingdom Championship. I would actually put the United Kingdom Championship on the line on Sunday. That's just how I would do that here. We'll have interviews with MJF and Adam Cole ahead of their main event championship match. Jungle Boy Jack Perry will retire the FTW Championship. And FTR and the Young Bucks will come face to face. I don't know if there's anything else announced for Rampage or not. So there's that. The card for All In might add some stuff. Who knows? It's going to be a double taping for Collision because they're not going to be live for Collision because they're going to be in the UK on Saturday. So they're not going to be able to do all that. So there's that. Let's actually, let's go through the card for All In. Let's do that. Why don't we? Let's just run through that card here. We have, if I can pull up the All In card, here we go. 0 Hour, Aussie Open, defending the Ring of Honor tag titles against MJF and Adam Cole. The main event, MJF, Adam Cole for the world tag titles, FTR and Young Bucks. 4-way for the women's championship, Sheeta, Toni Storm, Saraya, and Britt Baker. If I'm being completely honest, I'd scratch that match completely and do Sheeta and Emi Sakura. Coffin match, Sting and Darby Allin versus AR Fox and Swerve Strickland. Punk versus Samoa Joe. The Golden Elite versus Bullet Club Gold and Konosuke Takeshita. Blackpool Combat Club and TBDs versus Eddie Kingston, Lucha Brothers, and the Young Bucks are the best friends of Stadium Stampede. Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. That's basically all I have for this week. For this show, at least. I will see you back here for hopefully Dynamite. Hopefully Dynamite doesn't suck. There's a good chance it will, because Dynamite lately has not been very good. Just AEW is kind of, I don't know, just the whole backstage drama with AEW is kind of getting my nerves as well. Anyways, I'm Ben Matt, the Misfit Wrestling Podcast. All those links in the description will be down below to all the social medias that I have and the audio outlets and all that shit here. I will see you back here Wednesday night, Dynamite, hopefully. Until then, we're out.